Hi, I'm Jeremy Boring, CEO of the Daily Wire, and yes, the rumors are true. After Steven rejected our bad offer, we reached out to Jared to see if he wanted to strike a deal. However, he decided to do the Choco Taco video on his own, but we're just going to read our contract that we gave to him line by line, even though he'd never mentioned that we even had a contract with him. But we're just going to be transparent. First thing is that he must watch one episode of the new Velma show every single day. I personally don't want to watch the Velma show. However, I want to find out what happens to Velma and see if Scooby ever appears. So I'm just letting him do all the work for that. Second thing on the list, he must cheer every time that LeBron fakes being fouled. I know this is going to take a lot of his time, believe me. However, we want to appreciate good acting. Next thing, Jared must find and give me Luther's Medium Catechism. Now, there is a small catechism and a large catechism, so that implies that there is a medium catechism. What are you guys hiding, Lutherans? Hey folks, welcome to the Late Night Snack. I'm your host, Jared Lendy. Let's talk. Most of the exercise I liked to do growing up was chasing after the ice cream trucks. And although there were multiple instances of asthma attacks, it was great because ice cream trucks provided more variety than your local convenience store for ice cream. Everyone had their own go-to treat that they used to get. For me, it was either the drumstick or the strawberry shortcake bar. But after a while, you notice that all the different ice cream options are just variations of each other, from either the bar, the popsicle, the cartoon character, or the occasional cookie sandwich. Not a lot of uniqueness. That is, except for one. Invented by Alan Drazen in 1983, Good Humor took the world by storm with their newest creation, the Choco Taco. And it was totally unique. You had a waffle cone shaped like a taco shell, filled with vanilla fudge, and topped with a chocolate peanut coating on top. It was truly fantastic. Unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end because on July 26, 2022, Klondike announced that they would be discontinuing the Choco Taco. It's a shame that it's gone, considering it's one of the main reasons why Americans were introduced to the Mexican-American cuisine that we know and love. Well, yeah, think about it. Back in the 1980s, Taco Bell only had a fraction of its locations, Tuesdays weren't reserved for any specific food product, and people at the store were asking what an avocado was. Choco Tacos were introducing itself to American culture, and it was a success. So why the decline and eventual discontinuation? Well, you could argue that the popularity of ice cream trucks as a whole has gone down, affecting supply and demand, but I think it's much more than that. I believe it's the same reason why Joji abandoned Filthy Frank years ago. They saw the writing on the wall. They knew that it was only a matter of time before some journalist would write about how culturally insensitive it is to have a taco-shaped ice cream product, and they would kill it just like they do with rice.
Uncle Ben!
Now, that's just a theory of mine. I totally understand that if things are not performing the way you need it to, you just have to get rid of it. I mean, imagine how difficult it was for Big Idea to fire Phil Vischer from voicing Bob after he turned woke.
Let's see if Cordy has a verse for us today. Exodus 20, verse 12. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be prolonged in the land which the Lord your God gives you. We have to honor them.
No, wait just a second there, Larry.
What is it, Bob?
Well, sure, that's what it may say at first, but we gotta look at the verse in a more nuanced approach.
Nuanced? What are you talking about, Bob?
Well, there are some people that take that part of Scripture and come to a completely different conclusion. Not everybody comes to the conclusion of biblical inerrancy.
Biblical inerrancy? Bob, this is a kid's show.
Well, people have to speak their own truth, Larry. For instance, look at us. We're botanically fruit, but we spoke our truth, and now we're vegetables.
Cut. Phil, but I think you know what this means. I'm gonna have to bring back the Choco Taco. I don't know if you recall this, but back in 2020 when Taco Bell discontinued the Mexican pizza, I made a video making it, and lo and behold, 2 years later, it's back on their menu. Coincidence? Absolutely not. I'm taking full responsibility of it, just like the eventual return of the Choco Taco, which I will show you how to make right now. Stay tuned. As you can see from this drawing right here, there's a lot of layers to the Choco Taco. You know, like a lot of modern YouTube reaction content you see online. Hey everyone, this is Jared Lendy with Luther's Medium Catechism, and today on the channel we will be reacting to Mike Winger's reaction, to Tim Hurd's reaction, to Doctrinal Watchdog's reaction, to Mike Winger and Ruslan's conversation where they react to John MacArthur's commentary or a reaction to 1 Corinthians. And let's get started.
I don't know for sure if MacArthur does that in his study Bible. I don't know that. When I nodded my head in agreement with Ruslan as an active listener. You ever do active listening? You're listening to someone, they talk and you go, yeah. Does that mean I agree fully with every single thing you've ever said in this time? And no, obviously it doesn't mean that. It's just weird.
I do the same thing when I'm talking to somebody too sometimes. So good job, Mike. We've got the chocolate peanut coating on top, the vanilla fudge ice cream right here, and the chocolate shell that we will be getting to in a moment, and the taco cone, which we're going to be starting with. Waffle cones are traditionally made with specialty waffle irons. Well, not this type of waffle iron, but even if I had the right one for this application, I probably wouldn't use it because it's too thin of a batter and it'll be too big of an actual cone. So we instead will be using something else. A lot of you that are Italian American probably know what this is. It's a Pizzelle cookie, traditionally made at around Easter, but I've seen it at all seasons growing up at my grandma's house. And what's good about them is once they're right out of the Pizzelle iron, you can shape them into about any shape that you want. See where I'm going at? To start, I've got the eggs right here, and I'm just going to add in the sugar and whisk that until the mixture is lighter in color. Once it looks like this, you can then add in your vanilla extract and your stick of melted butter and mix till incorporated. I'm going to switch to a spoon right now. That way we can add in our flour and baking powder. We're just gonna mix it all to combine. And once it looks like this, you're ready for the iron. While your Pizzelle maker's heating up, grab something that's a little more cylindrical in nature. I like the head of the stick blender, and place it firmly on a bowl just like that and set it aside for later use. I like adding about a tablespoon of batter for each Pizzelle. So you're gonna close the contraption right here, and after a minute and 20 seconds they should be ready. But it could vary depending on the make and model of your Pizzelle maker, so adjust if necessary. Once they're golden brown like this, you're going to take a pair of tongs and transfer them to your cylinder of choice. And I like to take the tongs and just give them a little squeeze right here, just to keep their shape. I like to do this for about 30 seconds. After 30 seconds to a minute, they're going to be hard enough so you can just let go of them. And then you can work on the other ones until you have no batter left. Next, all past, present, and future shows will be renamed to Cooking with Dad. So what does this mean? Well, there's a lot of Cooking with Dad episodes, and basically the entire channel is just Jared with his dad cooking. So I think it just makes sense for brand recognition. Once a week, Jared has to eat at my new fast food competitor of Chick-fil-A called Chick-fil-B. Chick-fil-A got my order wrong, so to strike back at them, I just opened my own fast food chain. Now you can make a homemade version. I have a homemade recipe for ice cream right here, if you take a look. However, store-bought's just fine. But there is one more problem that we face. Because the moment that we add in this ice cream, it could potentially melt, making the Pizzelle soggy and drip the ice cream on either side. So we don't want that. We need a barrier. That's where the chocolate and coconut oil come to make a magic shell. That's going to provide us three things. One, there's chocolate in the magic shell, providing us with the name Choco Taco. We're legally able to call it a Choco Taco at that point. Number two, it's going to provide us a barrier between the ice cream and the Pizzelle. And three, because of the properties of the coconut oil, it's very temperature sensitive, and the moment that we add ice cream to this, it's going to harden just like a magical shell. I'm going to add this to the chocolate. I'm going to microwave it, and I'll see you guys in a bit for assembly. Now that we have the magic shell ready, we're ready to assemble. So, grab one of your pizzelles, and I like to use a pastry brush to just brush the inside of the pizzelle so it looks like this on the inside. Now grab your ice cream and place it in between the cone, and now we're going to dip it in the magic shell, and before it hardens we're going to quickly just add some chopped up peanuts. We're going to place it in a tray right here so we can work on the other one, and repeat it until you don't have any more pizzelles. After 24 hours in the freezer, they look beautiful, and I say that we give it a taste. There's a lot going on here.
Like what?
First off, you've got the pizzelle, which is crisp and buttery. Then you've got the vanilla ice cream, which is smooth, creamy, and velvety. In between the vanilla ice cream and the pizzelle, you've got that magic shell there. It's not only providing some smooth, silky chocolatiness, but it's also providing a barrier and adding structural integrity to the taco itself. And we've got it on top here, along with the toasted peanuts. It is providing a nice salty balance to this. It is fantastic. If I had a nickel for every time that I recreated a Mexican-American dish because it got discontinued, I'd have 2 nickels. Yeah, which is not a lot, but it's weird that happened twice. To end this, I have a couple quotes from Lutheran pastor Hans Fiene of the Federalist, who've said this quite beautifully. "We turned cartoon characters and professional wrestlers into frozen sweets. We turned weapons of mass destruction into popsicles. But most impressively, we turned tacos into ice cream. The Choco Taco is muerto. May it rest in peace. We didn't deserve it." I one day dream for a time where we'll be able to think outside the box and be creative with our frozen desserts, just like we were back then. It'll take some time, but I'll be there, taco in hand. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, folks. Until next time, I'm Jared Lendy with Late Night Snack. Good night! Every Thursday, Jared Must Sing Friday by Rebecca Black. Jared must celebrate all Orthodox holidays. So, for example, if the Orthodox Easter is 1 week after the regular one, he must celebrate that. Same goes for Independence Day. He would be celebrating that on the 11th of July. Now we're going to the penalties. If Jared fails to follow through on any of these items, his pay will be docked as followed. 70% will go back to the Daily Wire. 50% will be invested to pay for snacks for Daily Wire employees. And the other 26% will be used as a donation to a charity of his choice. I have no idea why he rejected this offer. I think it was pretty good.
Come on, say goodnight, Jared.
Good night, Jared, and good night, Mia.
Let's go upstairs. Come on, guys.
Don't forget to share, comment, and like this YouTube video. And make sure that you're subscribed to Jared Lendy Show.
Wait, does this microphone even work?
Alright, what's up?
Yeah.
How?